everyone, this is Mrs. Donahue, and I wanted to go through the public class mystery trace code that you're supposed to be working on. And some of you haven't done it yet, and some of you have done it, and I just wasn't completely sure if you fully understood it. So I just wanted to do a little video to see if I could help you. So the first thing I just want you to look at, and I'm going to move it over to the side a little bit, is that you can see that the yellow line traces from the P in public down to that curly brace, and it's a little bit off because when it copied through it didn't go through quite well. So let's see if I can extend it a little bit. So down through here, and the pink one in public, well, I have to use red here because it's a different program, it goes down to this curly brace, and this P in this public for the main method goes down to this curly brace. So I want you to see how everything lines up. The while is inside here and it lines up to this curly brace. So that's one of the important things when you're making your code and reading your code. So you can see what is the parent item and which items are subordinate to that parent item. So everything in this code here is under the class mystery. So this is the class declaration. And everything in there was within the class, and you can tell because it's all indented underneath. So anything that's an indented in is part of that class mystery. And then you can see in this Bing method here that you have all of the code up through the curly brace as part of Bing. And then the main just has one line of code, and then that code ends at that final curly brace. So I just wanted to make sure you all understood that. Go back over here. Okay, so now we're going to go through what I did in this code. You can see I put stuff up on the side and I highlighted things because I was highlighting. I like to know ahead of time what variables there are, because when I'm tracing code, I need to know what I'm tracing. So we're going to go through this code. I'm going to use a blue marker. So the first thing we do is we look at the main. So I did that arrow there. So this is the one that we know we want to look at. So the main method starts with a print line statement, and basically it's calling Bing and it's passing to Bing this word Alan. We're going to highlight Alan. Whoop, that did not highlight, so I'm going to undo that. Okay, so Alan's going to be passed, and when we pass Alan, so we're sending Alan all the way up to over here because that's the parameter that Bing wants, and it's turning the word Alan into a new variable called string, or it's a string type variable, and the name of the variable is S. So we're going to go over here and we're going to type, so in S now it's going to be populated with Alan. Okay, so then we're going to drop to this line of code here. So now we have a new integer being declared, and it's going to be equal to S length minus 1. So S length, and we just learned about you learned recently about the length, is that you have to count how many items are here. So we say, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters in here. So length is 5. But instead of the I variable being equal to 5, it's 5 minus 1. So it's going to be 4. And the reason for that is because the length, they count to see how many are in it, but we start, when we do our counting, A is in the 0th position, right? L is in the 1th, 2 is in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. So if we just did length, we would end up getting we would get an error message, and it would send back that -1 because it wouldn't be available because there's no such thing as I of 5 if you're looking at the position of where the names are. So that's why they do that length -1. So that's a really important concept. Okay, so we've done that line of code. And now we have also a new, so now we're on to this line of code. I'm going to put a check here because we did that one. And we have a new variable called, it's a string variable called total, so I put it over here. And the total is just being populated right now with blank. So they filled it in, they declared the variable, and they gave it a blank. All right, so now we drop down, and so now we're at the while. And so we're going to do this loop. So the interesting thing about while loops that I really like is they're going to continue on and on and on and on until the condition does not qualify anymore. So this condition is looking for I being greater than or equal to 0. So I right now we know is 4, so it's definitely greater than or equal to 0. So we meet the condition, so we're going to drop to the next line of code. And so our next line of code here, sorry, I'm getting a phone call, but I'm just going to pause it for a second. So the next line of code is a new variable declaration. So we're getting a new variable called char, or sorry, a new character variable called ch. So that's the name of the variable. And it's going to be equal to s.char_at of I. So s.char_at, so that's the character they're going to look with the position of I. So when you look at this, so the yellow up here will tell you what to look for. So the variable from s, the variable s, which character is at position I? So position I is 4. So we know that the character at that particular position is right here. And that is going to be n. So now ch is going to be equal to n. I'll draw that a little bit better. Okay. And then we move down to the next line of code, we have a print statement. So it's going to print out I. So we know that I is 4. And then it's going to print out a space. So we're going to move over a few spaces here. And then it's going to print out ch, which is n. And now we did that. And so then it's going to do total. So we're at this line of code. Total equals total plus ch. So total has nothing in it. And when we add ch to it, which is n, then we end up with n. So we did that, and now I minus minus, so that is a decrement. So that means we're going to reduce I by 1. So it's just going to go down by 1. So let's see if I can erase this. So I was 4. So we're going to erase the 4. And now I is going to become 3, because I know 4 minus 1 is 3. And then I have to go back to the while loop, because I'm in this loop until I can't go through the conditions anymore, until it doesn't meet the conditions. So I is greater than or equal to 0. I is 3. That's definitely greater than or equal to 0. So I go to the first line of code, and I'm going to change my code color to green so we know we're in a different one. So we're at this line of code. We've done this one. And so which character are we at now? So where I is in the 3rd position, so the s variable, we're looking for the character at the 3rd position. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say at the 3rd position, oh, here we go. And that is the E. Okay, so we know which one that is. And so that's going to switch. So what ch is now, I'm going to have to erase that because it was n before. But now that we've gone through our code, it's changing to E. So I've done that line of code. Now it's going to do a print line. So we're at this statement now, and it's going to print out I plus the space plus ch. Okay, so I is equal to 3. The ch, the space is going to go in first, and then the ch is equal to E. And now I go to this line of code because that is finished executing, and total equals total plus ch. Okay, so total equals total, which is n, plus ch is E, so now total is equal to ne. And then I drop to this line of code, I minus minus, so I take my I and I minus 1. I'm decrementing, I'm making it go down, so I, instead of being 3, I'm going to change it to 2. Oops, I'm still in the eraser. I'm going to change it to 2. So I've done that, and now I pop back up to my while. So here we go again. We're going to do one more as a group, and then you're going to finish it and send me clarification so you can earn full credit on this assignment, okay? So the next one is we are going to do, let's say I'll pick the red now. So we're still at the while loop. We're going to check the condition. So I, is it greater than or equal to 0? Yes. I is 2, and that is greater than or equal to 0. So we're going to drop to this line of code. So ch is going to be equal to s char at I. Okay, so I'm going to get my highlighter. So the s variable and character at the 2nd position, I'm going to highlight it over here. So that is number 2. Okay, so ch is going to be L instead of E, because E was at, so I'm going to erase here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put an L here. So CH is now equal to the letter L because that is the character at the second position in the variable S. So now I'm going to drop down here to my print line statement, and I'm going to print the I, which is 2, and then I'm going to print a space, and then I'm going to print what's in the CH field, which is an L. So I did that. Now I drop down to the total. So total equals total plus CH. So total is NE, and if I add to it CH, then total is now going to be equal to NEL. So I cross that off. And then I minus minus is my next line of code. So I'm going to decrement the code again. I'm going to make it go down. So I'm going to, oops, that was not the eraser. I'm going to erase the 2 and I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to get a 1 for I. And then I'm going to go back up to my while and I'm going to see if the condition is met, and it is still in that condition. So you guys are going to finish, and when you get down here, so there's a few more lines of code to go, right? Because we're only at I equals 1, and there's a couple more in there to do, and then it's going to return the total. So all of this stuff is printing out, and then it's going to return total, and that total return is going to go down here. So once you finish with the other statements up there and you return your total, you're going to go down here, and look what's going to happen. You have to print something else out. So your output is not only going to be what we've been doing over here, and you're going to have 2 more lines to go through, but it's also going to be, it's going to print out what gets returned. So in the total, so you're going to keep track of the total over here, and that's going to print out at the end. So that's everything that's going to print out. And then your job, in addition to sending me the output, so this is what you're going to send me. You're going to take whatever your output is, and this is not finished now, but you will finish it. This is what you're going to send me, all of your output. Plus, you're going to do in one sentence what's happening in Bing. So what's happening? You're just going to say, okay, you're just going to try and put it in your own words in one sentence, and that's all I need. So get to work on that. It's going to get you 10 full points if you send me a message. So send it to me in a PT so I know that you've done it. All right, thanks. If you have any questions, send me a message.